You see, over the weekend, I was at a family function. And anyway, it's still the weekend because this video is just going out. As soon as I finish record it, and it's gonna go out. And we were having this conversation with my family members, and these are the people that genuinely care for me. They care for my well-being. They care for everything that I stand for and everything that I get to tell you here on this channel. So over the weekend, I did ask three very strong questions, and my family, almost all of them, they went very much against what I was asking. And I wasn't just asking for the sake of asking, but this was a conversation that I triggered this conversation to see, are we continuously learning something, or have we become a society that is just there to do things or to live in the past, yet the world that we're living in is continuously progressing into something better or something bigger than what we already are. So here are the three questions that I go to ask my family. The first question, I was like, what is love? And I know this might sound very crazy. And because I come from a very Christian family, all of them were like, Chris, love is caring for someone. Love is you doing what is right for the other person and everything. And then I stopped for a second and I asked myself, okay, love is all these definitions that you guys are giving me. And by the way, there was like 8 people in the room, and everyone had a different idea of what they perceive love to be. I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with that. So if you tell me love is this, okay, I'll listen to your idea. But also, another person will be like, no, love is caring for the other person, just care for them, and without you waiting for the other thing. And I was like, okay, so if today I, as Christian Basedeke, I am caring about you, my family, is that love? They were like, yeah, that's a form of love. I'm like, no, let's not just go into the forms of love, but what do we assume to be this love, or what is love? And I couldn't get any good response from them saying that this is exactly what love is. Someone was like, okay, love is emotions and everything. Don't ever get me started with that, because when you tell me that love is a strong emotions, I'm like, okay, fine. If love is a strong emotion, then that simply means the day that this emotion ceases to exist, then the love is gone. And they were like, no. Okay, so you guys tell me, is love an emotion, or is it a way of life? My family could not give me any convincing idea. And then they jumped on something else. They were like, okay, Chris, so it means you've never been in love. I'm like, how can I be in something that I've never known? So you guys come to me here today and tell me, Chris, this and this and this is love. Then I can be able to say, then I've been in love. Because anyway, none of you here listening to me has ever fallen in love with their parents. You cannot fall in love with your parents, but they love you. They have never fallen in love with you, but they also love you. This was the conversation that I was having over the course of the weekend. And they were like, so you don't believe that your parents love you? I'm like, no, they care for me. And I'm saying this even on the internet, because this video will live here even long after I'm gone. No, they care for me. They don't really love me, because if they love me, then we will fall in love. So for them to come up with these theories and this analysis of saying, Chris, you've never fallen in love, that's why you don't know what is love. And I'm just thinking from the top of my head, and you guys are very much familiar with this. When you fall in love with something, anything that falls breaks, if it can break. Excuse me. Anything that falls tends to break. So how can I say that I've been in love, or I've fallen? Excuse me. I should edit this, but anyway, I'm human, so I don't want perfection here with anything. So anything that falls tend to break, and when this thing breaks, then it means this thing uh, cease to exist. So for me, I don't really buy the whole idea of me falling in love. It's a whole. What do I? I'll say it's a very uh, westernized idea, or maybe even a commercialized idea. So falling in love and the whole narrative, it does not really exist. We just care for people. And I think love is a very selfish thing, because if I love you, it means there's something that I want from you. So if your parent comes to you and they say, "Yeah, I love you, son," blah, 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 and all that, they say, no, no, they are doing that for their own selfish needs. Some of us, maybe we were born by parents, and these parents were just like, yes, I need to start a family. It was their intention to have this family started. So don't come to me and start telling me here, Chris, you're in love with me, or I love you and all that. No, you're doing this because of your own very selfish needs. And if I'm wrong, I want to be very much corrected. And then we proceeded on to, so one of the girls that was in the room was like, Chris, so you don't believe that God loves me or loves you? I was like, he does. How does he do it? He loves me with the conditions that I get to follow his rules, follow his regulations, and follow what he expects of me, because God has expectations of us. He expects us to be holy. He expects us to follow the Ten Commandments. He expects us to forgive each other 70 times 70 times. That's 490 times that we have to forgive, or maybe 4,900 times. 70 times 70, yeah, that's 4,900 times for us to be like him. But how many of us can forgive someone once, up to 4,900 times? How many of us can do that? So I'm like, no, God loves us. Yes, correct. Don't get me wrong on that. But he loves us under the condition that we get to follow his rules. So when someone says to me that, Chris, I love you unconditionally, or God loves me unconditionally, I'm like, what do you mean? God loves me unconditionally. And I'm still a student of life. That's why I read books, I do my research, I read my Bible and everything. So since when did the term unconditionally become conditionally? Because the same God gives us this commandment. He gave them to Moses. And yesterday I was told about the rules of what's the name of this guy? The rules of Ma'at or something. There's like 42 of them, and I'm like, okay, fine. This is something that I'm more than willing to go into. So when you look at the whole broader picture of what my family was standing for, I'm like, this thing is not adding up. And my mother and my auntie stood up. They were like, we are very disappointed in you for you questioning the things that we know this is the way of life. And I'm like, no, it shouldn't be something that disappoints you. Because if I am of a different opinion than yours, or if I question things that you've taught me from my childhood, then you should be able to come to me and say, Chris, here and here and here, you're looking at things from a very different angle. But none of them gave me an alternative. One of my cousins, the one whom we agree on more things, but we discuss more things, and we might even look like we disagree on more things, was the one that was like, Chris, I understand where you're coming from. But you think the generation of our parents understand where you're coming from? No, they fucking don't. And I'm like, so if they don't, why aren't they open to have these conversations? Let's talk about things that probably they don't want to talk about. Everyone else in the room, yeah, they were like, these are very good, genuine questions. But how many of us are willing today to go into this kind of conversations? And I was like, either I am becoming too philosophical, or I just have questions that need answers. And the gentleman, don't ever get yourself in a big discussion with your mothers and women, because as the whole thing was unfolding, my father was there. He was listening, and he was like, okay, I see where my son is going with this and everything. He didn't really react to anything, because anyway, he knew that, okay, these are questions that probably deserve an answer. But as the elder that was there, he was like, I understand where this son is coming from. But with our mothers, you cannot challenge whatever thing that they've already believed in. And that's what and that's what I've always been telling you guys here. Don't go in between the conversation or the disagreements between your father and mothers. Because my father yesterday was like, okay, yeah, young man, just carry on with whatever thing that you're doing. But you should have seen how my mothers were busy reacting to the things that I was saying, as if I was an alien just coming up with theories and conspiracies that don't necessarily make sense. Because even me as a guy today, if I decide, okay, I love this girl, she probably knows this. Probably Chris either wants me to have his kid, or he wants to go to bed with me, or he wants me to be with him for the rest of his life. And if I'm doing all these things, doesn't that mean that I'm doing it for my own selfish reason? Okay, I want this girl to give me kids. I want her to be my wife for life, or I want her, or I just want to smash. All these things that I'm saying here, pretending to be loving this girl, are they not some level of selfishness? Because I'm doing it because I want it. And she also, if she wants to sleep with me, she will. If she wants to give me kids, she will. If she wants to be my wife, she will. So aren't we all selfish human beings who are looking for our own interest? Because if she's not interested, or if she doesn't want to do it, she's not going to do it. She'll just be like, no. She'll just tell you no. It's fine. We can accept rejection. Gentlemen, I've always been telling you, all of you here, to accept rejection as it comes to you. Haven't I been saying that here? But for some reason, they're like, I have never fallen in love. What do you mean by falling in love? Maybe it's all just another facade that exists in our being, and we think now we can be able to create this idealistic world where, okay, now we can say this, we can do this, and we can say this, and without us looking at our own selfish things. I dare say this today. If I, as Chris Basedeki, was to go to a girl, and by the way, I've faced many rejections in my life, or I've been rejected more than I've been accepted. Do you think these girls rejected me because they didn't love me? No, they rejected me because there was someone better than me they were also seeking. And the truth can be very scary sometimes. The truth is very, very scary. Because when I told my mothers, here are the things that you guys are not looking at. Oh, she was like, no way, Chris, no, you can't be saying things like this. You cannot be looking at things from this angle. But why are you putting a barrier on the things that I can be looking at and on the things that I cannot be looking at? I think it should be a very free world where you look at things very objectively, very decisively. Oh, okay, I see things from this angle, and I also see things from this angle. That's how it should be, and maybe that's how it may forever be. So we are all just a bunch of selfish individuals who are looking for our own things. Then we masquerade that thing as love. To me, I don't really think that love exists. We can coexist, and if it exists, maybe, as they were saying, it's something that I've never really gotten to experience. But if it does truly exist, I really cannot wait for the time that I get to experience it. And if it does exist, I would say probably it exists for women, because whoever a woman has chosen, they stick with that person. Unless maybe they become aggressive, they become people that are assaulting them, then yeah, maybe that might not work. But if women are very loyal to the people that they get to choose to be with, to live with, and to work with, and to start a family with, they're very loyal to these people. The second thing, I was also shamed for one thing. I was horribly shamed for saying age. And this is the thing between age and relationships. In these relationships, I'm saying a man and a woman. And my cousin, whom we disagree with, though we agree on most things, she was like, Chris, now you're 28, or whichever age that you are at. You should not be looking at a girl that is 19 or 20. And look at someone that is 24, 25, just close to your age. Gentlemen, never ever fall for that shit. Why am I saying you should never fall for that shit? You should never fall for that shit because what's the legal age? The legal age is 18. My personal preferences are I don't see myself being with an 18-year-old kid, or even 19, or even 20, or even 21, for heaven's sake. These are still kids. I see them as my last born sister. She's 20 or 21, whatever. But should I be at 35 and I get maybe a very good, submissive girl that has been raised by their father, their mother, or that has been raised properly? Let me just put it that way. That has been raised properly. Why not? As we speak today, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, he's probably in his late 70s, probably 76, 77, I don't know. How old is the wife? The wife is 53, 54. And that's absolutely fine. So, gentlemen, I will tell you this. You cannot be shamed for the choices that you make in your life by women, because women are very good at this. They're like, no, you just want to manipulate. Do you think Donald Trump is being manipulated by Melania Trump? No fucking way. She's not being, I mean, she does not manipulate him. Probably the reverse is probably true. So you cannot accept to be shamed by the choices that you get to make in your life. No, never. So if today you decide, okay, I've gotten myself a girlfriend, she's a 25, 26, and I'm 33 or 34, it's fine. For me, I would say 10, 12 years gap in between husband and wife is absolutely fine. Because anyway, as I get older, if I have someone that is a bit younger than me, if that was my preference, yeah, she will look after me. But for me, I'm like, I tend to have very intense conversation with people. So probably these are conversations that with the 19-year-old kid, it might be difficult. So I tend to look at people whom we can converse with them. And sometimes I've met very brilliant 19-year-olds that we've had conversations with, and I'm like, this is very impressive for me to have a conversation with someone that is as young as this. So, gentlemen, you cannot accept to be shamed by the choices that you get to make on who you marry in your life. Because anyway, it's the most important decision that you're going to make. And especially now, if myself as a 28-year-old guy, I decide, okay, I'm going to marry this girl. She's probably 19 or 20, and she's proved to me that she's capable of handling this conversation, and she's shown me that level of maturity. Definitely, I'm going to keep that girl. But me being shamed, show me today one 47 on a 30-year-old or even 40-year-old man that is not divorced, not does not have any baby mamas, or does not have. Bro, there's very, very few of them. And probably the few that are out there, they're all losers. Or they've just decided, okay, I'll live my life like this. And then to start being shamed for you choosing someone that you really like, someone that is a bit younger. Gentlemen, I am here today. And I thought I just had to share this with all of you so that you know the kind of world that we are living in, the narratives that we are being sold. That, oh, a man cannot do this, a man can do this. Bro, live your life perfectly. If someone likes it, fine. If they don't, it's not their life anyway. At the end of the day, this is your life, gentlemen. So the whole narrative of love and the explanations that comes with it, it's up to you now. Make up your mind, make up your choices, and say, okay, I'll stand for this, or I'm going to agree with this, and I'll disagree with this. It's all entirely up to you. But if someone knows right away to tell me about the definition of love and what they think this love might be, I'll be more than happy to listen from you and to know that, okay, this is what people think love is, or this is the explanation that love should definitely get. And if that's the case, then that's fine. But as for me, my family could not give me the definition of love. They could not define it. They could not give me a convincing idea. So that's all I had to say. Don't forget to give me my like, subscribe, and share the video. Find me someone that would give me the definition of love. I'm desperately looking for them. And then I'll see you all in the next one.